All right, right. What's up with this light? Well, I guess that's what we're gonna be rocking with. It's getting a little better. So far, so good. But I wanted to get on here and explain, I guess, just somebody wanted me to explain what other options the Tennessee Titans had this offseason. I think the current regime was extremely frugal. They made, decisions that made a lot of sense with their current roster, based off of, previous commitments. But me personally, I really think the key to this offseason was the contracts of Ryan Tannehill or Derrick Henry. Um, pretty much the people who had high, or Kevin Byard, people who had substantial um, cap hits, right? Um, and once you're choosing which player that may be, the Titans ended up doing none of it, right? They kept everybody. They supposedly asked Kevin Byard for a pay cut, but to me, that's the wrong person to ask, in my opinion, um, just from a respect standard, right? Because if you've been paying attention, Kevin Byard has been the most consistent. He actually is one that deserves it. And then, thinking about that as well, you look at, Derrick Henry. You're not asking him to take a pay cut either, because you're in a unique position now that it's a new regime. You're a new GM per se, and I don't want to really give out recommendations. I'm just making observations, and then obviously saying what I would do personally. Um, but I'm looking at a situation. I've done my homework. I know that Kevin Byard has been a staple for this Tennessee Titans defense. He is the face of the Titans for that defense, him and Jeffrey Simmons. You got Jeffrey Simmons taken care of. Kevin Byard is the other guy that has been holding it down. Then you look at on offense, Derrick Henry is the life force of this team and this offense. So I'm not asking him for a pay cut. And I'm understanding that these guys are on their last rides as Titans, right? I'm coming in and I have a unique opportunity to, put my stamp on this team. Not, try to win it all in one year. Actually, I am trying to do that, but I'm trying to do it in the most um, prudent way possible, but at the same time, field a competitive team while still putting my DNA on the team and getting some of my players in. And this was the perfect opportunity to do so. But in order to do that, you really had to have a plan, an elaborate plan beforehand. So that's a good segue to kind of think about before we talk about Ryan Tannehill and his contract, which I believe is the key to the offseason. This is a really good segue to what really were, what really was the Titans' plan? How much time did they really get to plan how they wanted to attack free agency? How they, I know the guys that's in the scouting department, they take care of, the targets and stuff like that. Who should the team sign? And stuff like that. Those guys were steady working. But in terms of as a GM, what is your direction and where you kind of want to go? And maybe he didn't have time. Maybe this is truly the direction that the Titans wanted to go the whole way. But to me, it feels like the Titans are reacting real time to situations rather than having a elaborate plan moving forward. Because after just looking at this roster and this whole situation, I can't see how, Ryan Tannehill was a part of the plans. And that's with all due respect. Hey, Ryan, if you watch this, man, I think that, a lot of people won't agree with. I think that you're probably the best pure quarterback that we've ever had. You, Hasselbeck, um, I would say Fitzpatrick, but no, you and Hasselbeck, and then obviously Steve McNair, top three in pure quarterbacking. But obviously, as far as greatness is concerned, which is accomplishments, obviously Steve McNair takes that. But as far as pure quarterbacking, you're that guy. But in terms of moving forward, and if I'm a new GM coming in, and your contract is the key to the access to all the other free agents, the ability to sign them, the ability to restock this roster with the right type of talent. And we have to understand when something's when a good thing is over. And I feel like, regardless of what Ryan Tannehill does this year, from a perspective of just a smart and frugal move in making and creating your own um, identity year one. To me, that was the move. Obviously, the Tennessee Titans will have a lot of cap space next year, and he'll have the ability to do that. So I guess you could say, let's ride it out one more year. Ryan Tannehill deserves it as well. But it's not gonna, as of right now, it's not making for a good product on the field. And yeah, they're gonna have opportunities to make trades and sign people, but right now, currently, it just doesn't. The plan doesn't look as potent as what it could have been. You pair that with a draft that's extremely safe as well. All these moves are safe. It's like a one more, like it's the Last Dance version. It's the Titans version of Last Dance, um, and that's just kind of the feel for it. Whereas with me, like I said, just reiterating, I would have gotten it over with. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Ryan, whether it be release, whether it be trade. Some of the things that is in my game plan was trying to trade into Atlanta. Um, and alleviating some of their that what would be cap situation for them, a bad contract in Cordero Patterson or a contract they may not want, and then trying to alleviate some of that cap hit if we did it then, because you can't delay a trade. So it could have been a post June 1st release as well, just so that we have cap space to sign, to reevaluate or restock that depth on our team. And then getting guys that can develop and be on the team for years to come, right? And just getting it over with, right? Just why wait another year? You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in Ryan Tannehill, right? I believe that if he stays and we get any type of any type of weapons, that you have a chance with Mike Vrabel and a competent quarterback. But at the same time, when you're a new GM, you have an opportunity to create your own. And understanding that, okay, what if the year is rocky? You know, Releasing Tannehill. What if the year that Tannehill is gone is rocky? Well, that means that you have higher draft picks. So you're not intentionally doing it for higher draft picks, but if that's the inevitable, it is just is what it is. But that's just that was the key. His contract was the key to the off season. And a lot of people who aren't really studying will say that this is not a great free agent class. I think that we will look back in a year or two and say this was actually an underrated free agent class in terms of the veteran leadership and experience that you're going to get from this class. How much gas is left in the tank? I think, especially in the first wave, plenty. And we'll look back and see that this was a pretty good free agent class, and I watched the majority of them. So that was wrong. That was a wrong assessment, and it's actually a really good class to do what I'm talking about. Be able to sign guys to 1 year prove it deals that have an option to keep them. And then guys like Cole Holcomb, for example, Steelers signed that linebacker. He's going to be a second contract guy, if he stays healthy. Guys like, people didn't see the vision with Josh Oliver signing to Vikings, saying it was such a huge deal, blah blah blah, but they don't understand how it's broken down and what is actually going to be against the cap. And then his talent, and then betting on the traits, betting on being the best blocking tight end in the game right now, and then just betting on the receiving chops to kind of match that. Just moves like that really just put you in position to be successful for the future. And you acquired these players there. They got a year in your system. Now you have an opportunity to keep them based off of your option that you built in their contract. Now the Titans are in a place currently as of early first week of May post draft. Not many receivers, not great depth. You have I call it a, I'm not going to call it a weird quarterback battle, but it's it's an unknown quarterback battle, which will make for good entertainment across the league and across all media, just paying attention to it. Um, but it's just in a place of limbo. It's in a place of placebo, which this franchise has been in since inception, outside of a few years. So people asking what other options the Titans had. It all started with Brian Tannehill's contract that freed up, so you could have freed up so much space and targeted your guys and built the team your way and really just did it, organically from the ground up. Now it just feels like a lingering effect of the past regime where we're just trying to, cleanse itself or expunge itself after 1 year. And, it's just that was the key. So for the person who asked for this video, that's the key. Ryan Tannehill's contract was the key. Via trade, via release, you had to get access to those millions. You had to get access to you know to all of it. And then obviously some of the releases that happened earlier in the process that freed up space as well. I have it right in front of me. Um, like Zach Cunningham, Taylor Lewan, Randy Bullock, Ben Jones, and Bud Dupree. That compare with that, and then if you want to cap convert some of Harold Landry's signing bonus, or to convert 10 million of that into a signing bonus, you could do that. Um, I also tried to target Tyler Boyd from the Bengals. The likelihood of that happening is a little bit lower because Duke Tobin really loves his receivers. But at the same time, that would have cleared a little bit more space because I would have been sending Amani Hooker. Now, if you want to ask a safety to take a pay cut, that's the safety to take the pay cut, and that's with all due respect to Amani Hooker, as far as the talent. But even Amani would probably agree. Don't ask KB. You know what I'm saying? KB is the heart and soul of the secondary, um, and that's just what it is. You know. So there's a lot of ways, and then from there, there's players you could have targeted. I'm not gonna lie and say that it was an outstanding market to where who were you gonna pay money to, and how did it really make sense? Now, it wasn't a fantastic market in terms of high end talent at certain positions, like anything, right? You're not gonna knock it out the park with everything, but I feel like there are players that from a value standpoint, like this offseason would have definitely been centered around trying to acquire Jacoby Brissett, because at his best, there's really no drop off between he and Ryan Tannehill at his best. We haven't seen Jacoby Brissett surrounded by elite talent. We only seen a sprinkle of it last year, when he had, the likes of Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper and David Njoku. He finally had talent, and you saw him be a top five, top six quarterback in the league. Yes, go check the stats. Go check your analytics. He played fantastic last year when he had talent surrounding him. So if that's the case, then you might want to surround Jacoby Brissett with talent. And that's how the offseason should have been built. If you had enough time to form your offseason game plan, then you should have been thinking about getting rid of Ryan Tannehill, with all due respect, and centering it around a unknown quarterback that nobody's hyping up, but can produce just like Ryan Tannehill. And with that Commanders team, which I believe is a cursed team, they need to do some type of cleanse, but hopefully they don't ruin Jacoby Brissett. He's going to shine with that squad. Other value plays, like I already said, Josh Oliver, Richie James, and Jerick McKinnon actually both signed with the Chiefs, and they're a pretty smart front office. They both signed with the Chiefs. Those are two value plays that the Titans could have targeted. Mac Hollins, who signed with the Falcons, That's a value play. Actually, Falcons signed two of my guys and Scotty Miller. Demarcus Robinson, who last played for the Ravens. That's a good value play. Two tackles, Jermaine Illuminar and Cameron Fleming, that you could have signed. Very underrated. Will get the job done. Evan Brown, another center. Now, Calais Campbell is somebody that asked for more money than expected, so I can understand that. But the backup plan for um, Calais Campbell was Matt Ioannidis. So I already told you that I like Cole Holcomb. He's one of those value plays that you sign. Of course, he's going to demand a little bit more because of his age and potential, but you could have had him locked in as a potential future guy. Veteran players like Denzel Perriman, Leonard Floyd, and Marcus Golden as your backup rushers, veteran rushers. You also could go ahead and try to get you Justin Houston, who played fantastic last year. You got Jordan Willis, who has some familiarity with Rand Carthon because of the 49ers days. Tavier Thomas, very underrated corner who got paid pennies by the Texans to return. Isaiah Oliver, another underrated. All of these value plays, Deshaun Elliott, Duron Harmon, after releasing Randy Bullock, like who is going to be our kicker, right? Have we even signed a kicker, right? So Matt Prater was somebody that I would target just as a stopgap guy, because you would have had so much more flexibility had you released or traded Ryan Tannehill. He was the key to the offseason because I was not trading Derrick Henry. He has a unique skill set. He is unlike any other running back in the league. Why? Because of his size, because of the stiff arm, because of all of that. Short yardage. I'm not getting rid of Derrick Henry. I'm not getting rid of Kevin Byard because he is the heart and soul of that secondary. He has a unique skill set and he's an Iron Man, right? We look at contracts. What other contracts? Large contracts, right? I'm looking at them. Who else? Who else? Anybody else can go. Autry. I'm asking for a restructure of some sort. What did I actually do in the game plan? Uh, I actually extended Autry, went ahead and extended him. Basically, becomes a 1 year practical deal just to alleviate some cap, man, and have some flexibility within your roster to sign these. People's like, why do all that for a bad free agent class? I guarantee you, and I've said this before, I guarantee you, we're going to look back and say this free agent class was a very solid free agent class. Now, it was not going to have peaks and, peak, peak steals, but overall, people are going to look back, wow, that's a really good guy. They were able to get him locked in at this price with this option and moving forward. So, like I said, it was all about that contract with Ryan Tannehill because paying him 36 million, second to Patrick Mahomes. Is Ryan Tannehill a top 10, top 12 talent at his absolute best? I would agree with that. At his absolute best, that 2020 season, I believe, at his absolute best, sure, certainly. But it's just not the correct evaluation moving forward with the product, with the his supporting cast. How is he going to duplicate that? It's unfair to him. It would have been a lot easier to put him in an environment like Atlanta or to release him early so that he has the opportunity to sign with another team, and you would have got a comp pick, a compensatory pick for the big contract that he would have signed with the team. So in my game plan, I will have to admit that the evaluation early, like because I started on this February, March, the evaluation of draft picks was off, right? And I think it was off for everybody in some areas. So, and it's really always off early in the draft process. It doesn't really start to solidify until that last month. So I would have took basically my whole what I really wanted to do with this was create a roster that is full of veterans, create a roster that's full of veterans, right? Through free agency. Then with the draft picks, I really wanted to get guys to fill in the roster that in year two, year three can really take over the helm. Um, guys like Mingo, which in Dean that I actually drafted live. Later guys like DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson, who I think will be a great fit in in real time with the Browns. Osiris Torrance was a some would say would be a reach. I still believe he is a first round talent. His athletic quotient, I think that's taken over the league, wasn't great. And I don't think someone wanted to take that guy that early with that type of athleticism score. So it will make them look bad, right? Because, well, wow, you took a guy this low with this athletic quotient. But at the same time, and he's, pretty much stuck at guard. He's not going to kick out the tackle or anything or even play center, I don't think. So I kind of understand why he dropped, but at the same time, I think he's still worthy. Felix Anodike Uzama, another value play there. Ricky Stromberg, another really good player. It's going to the Commanders. Y'all better treat him right. Tank Bigsby used with the pick that I would have traded. So even if I didn't trade him, that pick 13 in round four, 113 wouldn't have existed, obviously. Jonathan Mingo, by all accounts, bad valuation. Just in a general consensus draft, he would be a fourth to fifth rounder. But in this specific draft, the 2023 draft, he's a second round value, second, third round value. So that was not understood at the time of creating the offseason game plan. And that's part of the beautiful part of the process. We grow, we understand the draft class as we develop our boards and understand the strengths and our layers and our tiers. But yeah, I would just, I think this fills out the roster very well. Wanted to get, like I said, a veteran team with, a few younger players and free agents who had promises for second contracts or to at least be extended through options, whether those basically making those 1 year practical deals another year and then seeing it from there. Like I said, the Titans have awesome, astronomical, whatever adjective you want to use, cap space next year. So I understand the laissez-faire approach if that's it. It's very hard to kind of really put, a distinct definition to what they're trying to accomplish because it really doesn't have a rhyme or reason that makes you excited. But you could very easily see them adding solid pieces, riding this year out, and then just paying for high end talent next year. But then again, you're going to be paying high end talent. So why not in a draft in a free agent class where I think there are very prudent deals, get your guys locked in at a certain price because next year they're going to be asking for more and more than likely you're going to be bidding against people and having to pay more. But it is what it is. I kind of I kind of do this. This is what this is this is what this is what I do. I enjoy the process. It gets pretty elaborate, and hopefully this answers any questions. If I covered every question, this video will probably be too long. So just wanted to go over that. For the comment, someone commented in a different video, so hopefully you understand. There was other options that the Titans could have done. Can you be a fan of what they did? I think it was very practical. I think the draft was practical. I think the free agent process was practical, but I don't necessarily think that it moves the needle in terms of like success for this season, right? I don't even like it's to me you know it's it's a thin line between being practical and just missing, so the needle's not being moved enough. And I understand there's no disrespect, but it, that's just the reality of it. Like on paper it looks prudent. It does. It looks okay. You got a versatile lineman here, versatile lineman here. We're just signing and drafting versatile linemen everywhere, right? We sign, the wide receiver situation is just it almost feels like trolling. It almost feels like sabotage. But at the same time, it's like, what is up your sleeve? I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's it makes for good reality TV. Let's put it like that. And we'll see. But God bless, and I will see you on the next one.